this. Have you ever thought about this? Did Jesus actually start a new religion? Jesus was always in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people. All the time, according to the religious people.
The kind of earliest memory I have going to church was I went to a funeral where I remember they were singing in Latin. And I remember asking my mom, I can't understand what they're saying. And she said, I can't either. Don't worry. And I said, well, why would they sing songs that nobody can understand? And she said, because that's what church people do. The first Christian meeting thing I went to, everyone sang songs together. And they sang to like one wall. Some of you hear that, and it might mean you have to forgive some religious people before you even can take a clean look at Jesus.
And read the stuff in there about Jesus. There's 4 books, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, that's all about the life and the person, the teachings of Jesus of Nazareth. Read it for yourself. I'm not God's defense attorney. I'm not trying to defend the Bible. There's nothing to defend. God didn't hire me and say, okay, Carl, my reputation down there on earth isn't going so well. Could you please defend me? He throws a party. This is the God Jesus is talking about. It's a God that throws parties for people who are lost. And who's lost? I am. We're the lost ones. And so, but somehow we've got it completely backwards, and we have God being mean to sinners and nice to religious people, and Jesus being mean to sinners and nice to religious. It's exactly the opposite. I tell people all the time, who say, well, I'm not very religious. I go, well, that's perfect then. He'd probably be right here. That's another reason why we did it in a bar. We want to be where Jesus would be. Because I think what has happened with Jesus is we have relegated him to the Christian religious box. And then we look at that box and we decide whether we like that box or not. If you like the box, if you like, funky suits and bouffant hairdos on ladies or slick back hair on guys and people asking for money, if you like that box and you jump in it, feel free to read about Jesus from whatever book you want. Most of the original stuff is actually in a book called the Bible. Jesus loves impetuous, silly, irresponsible faith. I think there's something about raw, unbridled passion that we often call faith that is so attractive to God. Don't you know that he gave religious people a hard time constantly? And he gave sinners life. And he gave ordinary people passion. He gave boring people a reason to live. He gave us a mission. And he modeled that. And he calls us into this place that's the most radical adventure that you can ever imagine. And you just have to agree to get out of the boat.
And that the world we live in, I think, across the board would say that things are not the way they should be. If there is a good God, if there's someone that cares for us, cares about us, how in the world could things be the way they are? The fatal flaw that they had, which is the fatal flaw that many of us can have in any area of our life as we grow spiritually and we consider Jesus, is they believed that Jesus would play by the rules of an upside down world. He wasn't all that interested in the religious people. Actually, we've talked about more than once. He argued with them all the time. Those are the people he argued with constantly. And they figured, of course, if he wants to make spiritual change, he would team up with the religious people. He wasn't interested in that. He picked the losers and the poor and the broken and the beat up. And those were the people that he healed and brought hope to and made this ragtag group of people. What is the miracle of all of this is that you form relationship with one another in a way that you could not have imagined. You didn't know it was possible. I would just ask you to be with us. Try and live life with us together. This thing of following Jesus, this life was never meant to be lived alone.